Hello everybody from the frozen tundra, and welcome to the first WalkerFilms review. I am suitably leaving campus after a screening for this one, because today I'll be discussing the 2013 documentary, At Berkeley. So once I get home here, I'm gonna pop out the video recorder and do my review. Catch you then. Frederick Wiseman is the one who directed this film. I should say that I've never seen anything else he's done. I did quite a bit of reading on the film before I decided to go to it, because a 4-hour investment is a long time, and it's, in fact, the longest movie I've ever sat through. But I'll just preface everything with saying it is absolutely worth it. It is a wonderful film that I think will hit home with a lot of different people in a lot of different ways, just because of how much it covers. But Frederick Wiseman is the director, and he's an 80-year-old documentary filmmaker, and he's been making films since the 60s about different institutions around the world. Like I said, I haven't seen any of his films, but I know he's done some on like penal institutions and mental hospitals, and kind of exposed, I don't know when I say exposed, but showed the inner workings that the public may have been unaware of. And the theme, I think, it sounds like runs through all of his movies and was apparent here as well. Not so much exposing things and showing things that people were unaware of, but giving you a whole view of what a public college institution in the modern American culture runs like. He chose Berkeley because he thinks it's the best public university in the world, and he uses a technique where he never gives, there's no graphics or text on the screen to give you a sense of who's talking or which place you're at within the university, which is a tactic that works phenomenally in giving equal strength to every voice that is heard. There's no one person who's underrepresented because we're not familiar with their name. There may have only been one person whose face I recognized before, maybe two. And like I said, they never show the names during the movie, so I can't tell you who those two people are. But it's an amazing technique that gives every single person, from the top of the faculty to the average undergraduate student. I think they're undergrads, they were mixture, definitely graduate students, but I think they were both. Everybody has a say, and nobody goes, without being able to be heard on an even plane. Another way this guides the film is that it leaves audience interpretation as the one to produce the meaning within it. There is no narration, he said no graphics, nothing to tell you what to think about what you're seeing. It's just one after another of these incredible situations that you wouldn't find anywhere else except at a top university. And the ideas that the people there talk about, are endless and very fascinating, and you can talk about them for days. I thought it was funny that one of the professors in one of the segments features a professor talking about time and how our brain perceives time, but it's not really a thing to perceive. I don't know. I'm not going to try and tell you what he said, because I'm pretty sure it came just kind of out of his brain and the way he wanted it to be intended. So I would suggest just watch the film if you want to get the whole spiel. But that coming in the early sections of a 4-hour movie, discussions of the validity of time and how we can kind of perceive it in different ways, that was clever. It sets you up to be ready for the ride, not that even you weren't already going in, because who sits down for a 4-hour movie without realizing it's a 4-hour movie? In this day and age, where you can find everything about the movie on, one website. But that was clever. Another way that the filmmaker kept this from dragging on, Wiseman has multiple cameras in many of the situations. that he films, and a lot of them are relatively small spaces, classrooms, not small classrooms. Some of them are smaller rooms, but as far as, a large-scale movie on a big screen, they're small classrooms, and you see every part of those classrooms and every person, and it doesn't drag on just showing one shot for a long time, which when you have a 20-minute scene where it's literally only people talking, that's the only thing you see, to be able to keep the visual flow going as he did is unparalleled, and it really makes you feel like you're there in the room with these people who are talking. In this movie, trust me, you don't just see the surface of anything. They give you all sides or many sides of many issues and many topics of discussion, and each are equally as fascinating, regardless of whether or not you agree. Like I said, there's no attempt to give you an opinion. It just shows you others' opinions in a collective where there's so much that you kind of start to get an idea of how things work and how people are. Now the climax, or not so much the climax, but one of the final acts, I don't think this could be called any traditional 3-act kind of a film, but one of the final acts involves a protest of the students at Berkeley, and this is one of the parts of the film where I was starting to question whether or not he was trying to make an argument, because it continuously was cutting between the students at their protests and the faculty working for both the safety and logistics of the university, in trying to manage this protest, but also make sure the students don't lose their right to free speech. And at first, it seemed to me that they were painting the students as a little naive, but as the film went on, like I said, all sides of the issue were shown, all opinions. There were students against the students, not fighting, but students intelligently giving their opinion on why they thought the protest was destructive. And though overall most of the opinions in the film were kind of anti-protest, it wasn't a propaganda kind of a thing. It was, this is the way the culture is at Berkeley. Though there still are these protests back from the way it was in the 60s where, the freedom of speech and free everything movement, that was going on. Those still happen, but they're perceived in a different way now. And the way that over the course of about an hour, that whole section is quite extensive, the way that they captured everything that you could have about that situation was fabulous. So there's really not much bad I can say about this movie. There were a couple instances where the camera work was a little less than superior, just due to the restraints that they were working under in being in small classrooms and stuff. But the majority of that was worked around really well. But other than that, I really have no complaints. Anybody who's interested, who's been to college really, or is in college today especially, or if you have the chance to just catch it on PBS, I know that a lot of Wiseman's films are screened there frequently. Or if you want to pay the $35 to buy the DVD / have the opportunity to go to free screening, absolutely check this one out. I don't want any part of those 4 hours of my life back. I gained something from every moment of the film. So I hope you are lucky enough to do the same. Alright, this has been a WalkerFilms review. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.